When you think about letting go of someone's behavior or hearing terms like detachment with love, what do you think about? The first thing I think about is how difficult it must be to let go of someone else's behavior when I don't agree with what they're doing. And I found that to be true over and over and over again in my clinical practice with my clients. It is hard to let go of someone else's behaviors when they're choosing to do something destructive in their life, when they're choosing to do something illegal, when they're choosing to engage in a behavior that's just annoying. It's hard to let go of what someone else is doing. And so today I thought it'd be important to just have a quick discussion about detachment with love. What is it? Why do we need it? Why is it important? How do we do it? Right. And this is a concept that originated, it kind of gained its steam through 12-step recovery groups. So a setting where you have individuals on one side who are using and abusing substances, and on the other side, friends and family members who are affected by that use. And what you see in those dynamics over and over and over again is that one person is engaging in a destructive behavior, and the other person, the loved one who's watching it, wants to help fix and save them. And in order for both to gain sanity, they have to detach, they have to let go of each other's behaviors and engage in recovery for themselves respectively. And through that process, what you find a lot, especially in our society today, and I've seen it a lot in my clinical practice, I see it in society every day, you see it in media. You see it on Netflix shows and Hulu shows and everything, all these dating shows, is the concept of codependency. People get enmeshed with each other and they try to help fix and save each other. They try to change each other. And I rest assured in the sense of like, well, I can't change anybody's behaviors, right? I didn't cause somebody to engage in a destructive behavior. I can't cure that destructive behavior, and I certainly can't control what they're doing with that destructive behavior. And so in recovery circles, we call this the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, and I can't control it. And if you understand those 3 C's, that's a great first step in detachment with love. When a client comes in to see me in my clinical practice and they're saying, hey, look, my loved one is using substances, or they have, a severe mental health diagnosis and they're just engaged in really destructive behavior and I don't know how to help them. The first thing we tackle is that it's not your responsibility to help them. It's not up to you. You don't have to help them. What you need to do is prioritize you. What you need to do is take care of yourself. And that's a very difficult conversation. It's oftentimes the first time that person has heard that, or maybe they've heard it before, but it's the first time they're being, in a way, caring confrontation, is being presented to them. And therapy is really good for that. I don't tell anybody what they have to do. I present the options. I present from a position of expertise in psychology. This is what's happening, right? This is what you're telling me is happening, and here's the solution. It's not you have to get into solution. It's if you would like this solution, let's explore why it's hard to get there. Let's explore how to get there. And how do we get to detachment? Because I can't just, if I've been engaged with someone who is participating in destructive behaviors and I've been engaged with that for a long time, I'm not just going to let go all of a sudden. And no client I've ever worked with in my 12-year career has ever just let go all of a sudden. It takes practice. The first thing is always true, is get involved in a community, get around other people who are detaching. We know this one for certain. If you have an unmanageable problem with substances, you need to get into a 12-step recovery program, and you need to do it post haste. You need to get in there right now. You got to stop using. You got to get into that program. Now, that's not me as a clinician telling you to do it. That's me as a clinician telling you straight up that there is no other intervention that is going to work for you. If you want to get better, you need a 12-step recovery program. All right. If you don't want to get better, then nothing's going to help you. Period. End of story. There is no magic pill, right? We live in a society too today where a lot of things get invented, right? Substances to help people stop cravings and stop using substances. But what I've seen in the clinical field is that any substance that's been created to help people stop using substances just creates another 12-step program. And that's observable for the last 50 years. I mean, look at Xanax. Xanax was touted to be this substance that, reduced craving for drinking. And it was touted to help alcoholism. And hey, there's my dog Strider. Hey, buddy. It was touted to stop alcoholism. And it just created a whole nother subset of narcotic abuse. Right now, it does help with things like anxiety, and it has some PRN uses and effects. The drug itself, even alcohol itself, isn't the problem. The problem is people abusing it. And so when we're talking about detachment, if someone's trying to detach from substances, they've got to get into a 12-step program. If the family member on the other side who doesn't use substances but has been trying to help that loved one, and now all of a sudden, is finding either that person doesn't want to stop or they have, and, that loved one has to get into a 12-step program as well. And that 12-step program for the friends and family members is called Al-Anon. And Al-Anon is a program for friends and family members of alcoholics. And it will get you around people who are actively practicing boundaries on both sides. And both the alcoholic and the Al-Anonic, they are working on detachment from each other so that they can relate in better ways. Because if you just stay in the dynamic of chaos, things aren't going to get better. And that's one example. It's not just with substances, it's also with mental health diagnoses. It's why treatment centers exist. At a certain point, you have to separate yourself from the environment to get peace, to get the distress under control, to get the treatment that you need before you return to the busy nature of life, to the aspects of your relationship that you would like to engage in. Sometimes we need space, we need quiet, we need peace, and we need people who are actively working on what it is that we struggle with. And 12-step programs do that really well. They're also free, which is another reason why they've been so pervasively helpful, is because they're accessible to a wide range of people, but especially in the realm of detachment with love, right? If you're listening to this, it's probably because you relate to this realm, and it's hard, right? I would imagine for you who's listening, I know it was hard for me to detach from love, detach with love from the people in my life who are struggling, and also just as a therapist, it can be hard, and it has been in my career at different times to detach from the struggles that my clients have. Right now, over the years, that's gotten a lot easier. That's a question I get often. Is it hard to separate? It's like, well, when I was a young clinician, yeah, it was hard to separate. And if you're a clinician watching, I'm sure you can relate to that too. But over time, boundaries really helped, and so did detachment, letting go of what's happening for another person. And I share that example because therapy is all about providing support to those who've said that they want that help. And also, once somebody comes to me and asks for my help and assistance, it's not my job to do it for them. My job is to give them information when they ask for it, and to detach when they leave my office so that they could go practice those things. And that's detachment with love. All right. It's like, I wish them the best, but I'm not going to do it for them. I can't do it for them. And that's an important aspect to remember as adults. If you're dealing with another adult, there's nothing you can do on God's green earth to get a person to change. All you can do is let go. That's it. Period. If you're looking for another answer, you'll never find it. There is no other answer. You cannot change another adult. That adult is the only person with the power to change themselves, and the only thing we could do is detach. And if we're going to detach, we might as well do that with compassion. We might as well do that with love. We do our best. Now, if somebody's really hurt you, right, or they've been hurting you for a long time emotionally, even physically, it's going to be really hard to detach with love. But it's worth it. And it may take time, but if you surround yourself with good people who have done that and have gone down that path and journey, you'll find it easier over time. And I want to be really clear. We're not talking about forgiveness. We're not talking about forgetting hurtful things that other people have done. We're talking about acceptance, right? Acceptance that I can't change that person. Acceptance that it's not mine to control. Acceptance that that person is their own person and they deserve the dignity, right? They deserve to have the dignity to make their own mistakes, to do whatever it is that they're going to do in their lives, the same way I deserve that same dignity, the same way you deserve that dignity. And the best way to achieve that in a community, in a family, in friendships, in relationships, is to detach with love. Even when things are going well, right? Being able to detach with love with your partner, they're going to go have fun with their friends, detach with love, right? Oh, well, but what if they go out and get into trouble? Well, it hasn't happened yet. And do you have any reason not to trust them? No. Okay, well then detach with love. Send them out with compassion, and when they come back, they'll be back. And if they do, right, go out and engage in a behavior that you don't agree with within the context of your relationship, then detach with love. Hey, I don't agree with what you did, and I don't think that's going to work for me in this relationship. You communicate and detach. Not, hey, here's my ultimatum. You either change that behavior or I'm leaving. No. That's not detachment. That's manipulation. Right? Detachment is, I don't necessarily agree with the way that you're behaving there, but I can't change you. What I can do is take care of me, and I'm not going to put up with that for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and remove myself from this situation. And that's detachment. All right. You go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I think if you live your life that way, at least what I've found both personally in my clinical practice and professionally, across every aspect of my life, if you live that way, if you behave that way, if you engage with people that way, you're going to feel a lot better about situations. You're probably even going to feel better about the person that you don't agree with, the way they're behaving. So detachment with love. It ain't easy. It's a topic we're going to broach at different times. I imagine you'll hear me say it quite often. Detach with love. If you like these topics, if you like these videos, tune in, right? Breaking the Cycle on YouTube and Spotify. We have a live show on Friday nights. The information for the live show is in the description below. There is a number for live call-in. So if you have questions on Friday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's on Fishbowl Radio Network, you can catch it there. And you'll catch daily uploads of these videos here. So we look forward to chatting with you on multiple platforms, and I love you. That's all I got.